1st to 7th of August of every year is the breastfeeding week. And this is the week where we get to talk about breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding, different types of, feeding in babies. And then we talk about the benefits of breastfeeding, and we get to encourage new moms on breastfeeding and exclusive breastfeeding, which is what I am going to do basically all through this week. I started this yesterday on my Twitter and Instagram pages. My handle is Your Baby's Doctor. I started dropping tips on breastfeeding because this video, of course, is going to talk about breastfeeding, but it's going to be very short. I like to hit the point and move. All right, so I would like you to just visit my social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Your Baby's Doctor and find tips, reliable tips about breastfeeding. All right, so this video is going to talk about benefits, the various benefits of breastfeeding, the reasons why you should breastfeed your baby exclusively, and of course, encourage you to do that. All right, so if you're just coming in for the very first time, I can promise you that this is the right place to be. I give reliable, very reliable, well-researched information about your child's health and well-being. And of course, I'm always here to encourage you. I like to, interact with people. So if you really want to interact with me more outside YouTube, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I always drop that in the description box below. All right, so if you're just joining me, I'm always very happy to have you here. Thank you for joining my channel today, and thank you for watching this video. You can also take your time to look at the other videos that I've posted and find reliable information about your child's health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be with you shortly, and then we'll talk about breastfeeding. The World Health Organization encourages mothers to breastfeed their babies within the first hour of birth. And after this, they also encourage mothers to breastfeed their babies exclusively for the first 6 months of life. When they talk about exclusive breastfeeding, what it simply means that you're giving your baby no other thing apart from breast milk for the first 6 months of life. Of course, except when it is medically indicated. I'm talking about oral rehydration solution. I'm talking about medications. Okay, but apart from those, you are giving your child only breast milk for the first 6 months of life. No water, no herbal concoction, nothing else. That is what exclusive breastfeeding is. And that is what we encourage as pediatricians. The World Health Organization, UNICEF, everybody, everywhere encourages that you give your child only breast milk for the first 6 months of life. And it has been shown that breast milk has loads of benefits for your baby. Of course, the first benefit that I would like to talk about is the fact that the way God has created the breast milk, it is what everything that your child will need for the first 6 months of life is in your breast milk. I'm talking about everything: proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, everything is loaded in the breast milk. And of course, I have a lot of mothers asking questions about water. Why shouldn't I give my baby water? My baby will be thirsty and all that. The truth is, breast milk contains about 88% of water. So that means your baby has more than enough water to sustain your baby till your baby is 6 months old. So yes, it is very, very, very important to have this at the back of your mind. Those misconceptions about your baby will be thirsty, about your baby not getting adequate nutrients should be gone, because breast milk is the ideal for every baby before the first 6 months of life. In fact, if you look at the breast milk, the first breast milk that the mother will produce after birth is what we call colostrum, and that one is loaded with immunoglobulins, and these are the things that we use to fight infection. Okay, and then gradually the milk matures. So as the baby ages, as the baby grows, the milk also matures to fit what the baby needs for that particular period. Isn't that wonderful? That is actually very wonderful. So yes, your baby has enough nutrients to last them for the first 6 months of life. Another thing is, like I've mentioned in the nutrients, I mentioned that the breast milk is loaded with a lot of things that your baby would need to fight infections. So all those things that your baby will need to fight infections, the immunoglobulins, antibodies, everything is loaded in the breast milk. And that is why we encourage mothers to breastfeed their babies, so that these babies can get these things, these soldiers that they will need. They will acquire these soldiers that they need to fight infections from their mothers, and they are good to go at least for the first 6 months of life. So yes, it is very, 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 very loaded in things that your baby will use to fight infection. Similar to that second point is the fact that breast milk has been shown to reduce the risk of diseases, of some diseases like respiratory tract infection, ear infections, which we call otitis media, and of course, very important, diarrhea. Because well, when you're feeding your baby, it's directly from the source. You put your baby to your breast, your baby sucks it directly from the source. So there is no external contamination, no water from anywhere. You don't have to use bottles. You have germs everywhere flying, and then in the process of using bottles or cups, you can have them patch. All right, so putting your baby directly to the breast would reduce the risk of diarrhea in your baby. And studies have also shown, point number 4, that babies that are exclusively breastfed are likely to have healthy weight. So they are not likely to be overweight or obese when they grow up when compared to children that were formula fed. This was shown in a research in 2012, and it has been shown as a very valid point. All right, so breast milk also reduces the risk of obesity in your children. Point number 5 is that breast milk reduces the risk of allergies in your children. So exclusively breastfed babies are less likely to be allergic than babies that were not exclusively breastfed. Alright, so this point is one that most people will not like to hear, but studies have actually shown it, and you know that we deal with science. I deal with science. So if you have any other study to counter this, please bring it on. Let's discuss responsibly about this. But studies have actually shown that children that are breastfed have a higher IQ than babies that are not breastfed, and of course babies that are not exclusively breastfed. So yes, if you want smarter children, we encourage you to go ahead and exclusively breastfeed your babies. So what kind of doctor will I be, or what kind of pediatrician will I be if I talk about the benefits of breast milk to the babies and I leave the mothers out? I mean, the mothers are also very important to us because they are the ones that take care of our babies. So breastfeeding has a lot of benefits to the mother herself. Isn't that lovely? Knowing that even as you're breastfeeding your baby and you're helping your baby grow, you're also gaining a lot of things from breastfeeding your child. So some of the things that you get from breastfeeding your child as well, it helps you lose the weight, the weight that you acquired during pregnancy, because breastfeeding burns a lot of calories. Okay, so this will actually help you lose some weight. It has been shown to reduce the risk of ovarian and breast cancer. So, I mean, that's a very nice benefit to get from breastfeeding. So, breastfeeding your child also serves as a type of contraception. But I have to warn you here, it is not a reliable type of contraception. You'll be surprised after 3 months and you are pregnant again. So, yes, don't say because I just gave birth, I'm breastfeeding, I'm not going to get pregnant. You have to put other things in place to avoid that. All right, and then of course, how can I say this? In what other way can I tell you that breastfeeding is safe, breastfeeding is cheap, breastfeeding is affordable, breastfeeding is available? I mean, it is the cheapest form of feeding. Imagine buying formula feeds every day till your baby is 6 months. And then your baby is the kind of baby that eats 1 can in 3 days. Oh well, what can I say? So yes, breastfeeding is actually safe. It's cheaper, affordable, and available. So if you actually can, breastfeed, if you don't have any contraindications to breastfeeding, because there are some contraindications to breastfeeding, like someone that is undergoing chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or in some cases, some people that have HIV can decide that they don't want to breastfeed their baby, they just want to go ahead and give formula feeds. But HIV is not a contraindication to breastfeeding, please, you have to know that. But it is a contraindication to mixing feeds. So when you have HIV, we are not likely to allow you breastfeed your baby as well as give your baby formula feeds. You have to pick one. It's either you exclusively breastfeed your baby or you give formula feeds. Okay, so it's not an absolute contraindication to breastfeeding. So apart from people that have reasons, of course, contraindications, or even personal reasons. You have personal reasons, you can decide you don't want to breastfeed your baby. But for us, we try to encourage mothers to exclusively breastfeed their children for 6 months, because this is when the children or your child gets the loads of benefit. And like I've said in this video, the mother also gets the benefit, and that is just so beautiful. And of course, you know that breastfeeding makes you bond with your baby. So your baby is there attached to you, staring into your eyes, and you're also staring into your baby's eyes. This actually creates a bond between you and your child. So if you don't have any other contraindication, you don't have any personal reasons why you don't want to breastfeed your baby, please, we would like to encourage you this breastfeeding week and every day that you should exclusively breastfeed your child for 6 months. I know it is not easy, I must say, especially for working moms, it is not easy, but you have to find your way around it. You know that breastfeeding a child does not necessarily mean always putting your baby to breast. Sometimes you have to express and feed your baby, but let it just be, make sure that it is breast milk as much as possible. So I hope this video today has touched you. So if you're a pregnant woman and you're still wondering, should I breastfeed, should I not, I've told you some of the benefits that you can get from breastfeeding your baby, and I've told you some benefits that your baby will also get from being breastfed. So please, if there is no other contraindication, I want to encourage you to breastfeed your baby exclusively for the first 6 months of life. So generally, I would like to say that breastfeeding is actually the responsibility of everyone. It is not just the mother. It doesn't have to be with the mother and the baby alone. It has to do with you and I. It has to do with employers. I mean, employers have to create an avenue where their employees can exclusively breastfeed their baby. They have to create, things. They have to put things in place that will make or that will encourage exclusive breastfeeding in their facilities. Even people, these days there are a lot of questions, a lot of problems with breastfeeding in public. We have to make mothers feel comfortable breastfeeding their children. Breastfeeding is the way, and it is not a crime. So do not victimize someone for breastfeeding in public. Do not stigmatize anybody for bringing out their breasts to feed their babies. Some of those babies are so annoying that before you can even loosen your shirt, they're already screaming. And of course, if you come from Nigeria, Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba girl, so if you come from our own side, when your baby starts screaming, you start hearing people saying, I answer this baby now, like it's your business. But in our own environment, everybody trains the child, right from the parents to the community, everybody trains the child. So yeah, you have to listen to them. So we have to support breastfeeding mothers. If you have anybody that is a breastfeeding mother, please support them, encourage them. If you have someone that is working under you that is a breastfeeding mother, please encourage them. Exclusive breastfeeding would save them a lot of money, as you use hospitals, reasons to go to the hospital stay, even childhood mortality. It has been said to even reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome. So please encourage mothers to breastfeed their children exclusively. I hope this video has been very helpful. If it has been, please give it a thumbs up, because you know that each time you like my video, YouTube sees it as a very important video and makes it available for people to see. Also drop your comments in the section below if you have had any issues with breastfeeding, if you have any concerns about breastfeeding, if you have any questions about breastfeeding. Drop them in the comment section below and I'll be here to respond. I'm always excited to respond to your questions and queries. And of course, if you have any topic that you really want me to talk about in this channel, put it in the comment section below and I'll be here. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please subscribe to my channel, and together we can reduce the morbidity and mortality associated with children. Isn't that wonderful to have a world where children are very healthy? That is our goal, and that is what we look forward to. So thank you so much for joining my channel. I am Ayobola, Adebowale, your baby's doctor, always shining light on your child's health and well-being. Happy breastfeeding week.